YouTube. I hope all y'all are having a blessed day. And if you haven't guessed, I'm still sick. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the first video of 2024. We are going to be making today, we're doing a warm-up and intro to slow stitching, raw edge applique, and embellishments, etc. We're doing a very fast warm-up project today using raw edge applique, embellishments, buttons, beads, anything that you might have, and we will be making this beautiful bracelet. So if you want to learn how to make this adorable little bracelet and pick up all the techniques that you're going to need for our block of the month for 2024, please do stick around. I'm so excited to get started. I thought we would make a fun little bracelet. I'm using 2 layers of felt. You could also use a layer of fabric and then batting. And I have cut this 1.5 inches wide and it is 9 inches long. So average wrist size is about 7 inch. All right, so I'm coming in at about 6.5. So I'm going to make mine about 7.5 inches long. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do, is we're going to cut this down to about 7.5 inches long. Now what I'm doing is I want this to be on the back and I want this to look pretty. I don't want to see a lot of stitches in it. So I'm going to put that aside for now, and I'm just going to work on this felt. And we're going to take pieces of fabric. We can tear it so it's nice and rough, and we can put a piece there. And I have this whole big jar full of goodies here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the pinks and purples ranges. So I have this nice piece here that's already got a nice rough edge. And if it overlaps, that's fine. So many colors, and you can use up so many fun scraps on this type of project. And if you need to go over there and iron it a wee bit, you can. And this is a fun place to use salvages because they're so small. So I have this one here and I really like that. And that has a nice fuzzy edge, so that'll look nice. That is covered. We're going to start gathering fun elements to add to it. I decided that I would use some of this lovely pearl cotton. This is pearl cotton number 8, and it is from Wonderful. And it doesn't have to be expensive stuff. It could be whatever you have laying around. If you have a cone of number 10 white pearl cotton, use it. If you have a box of embroidery floss, use it. Use whatever you like. I'm just going to make a small little knot here. And I'm just going to start sewing, and I can tuck the knot back here and no one will ever know it's there. And we're just going to make some random stitches. They don't have to be in a perfect line. They don't have to be in a perfect size. And yes, I did put some pins on here, and I will grow to regret that, I am sure. If your hands are arthritic and they're sore, you don't have to make tiny little perfect stitches. You can make larger stitches. You straighten it out that way so there's no puckering. And if you don't like the size of the space in between this stitch and this stitch, you can always just slip in a little back stitch. No one's gonna know. Take that pin out. Any stitch that you like also. I also have some of these are called tatting needles, and they're really, really long. You could use sashiko needles. I don't have any sashiko supplies, but folks seemed interested in seeing me do some sashiko, so we can do that. That's all. Sashiko, boro, kawandi, this slow stitching, it all is similar. The only difference is sashiko is extremely precise, and you draw out a grid and you do it in a certain manner, and it's supposed to be very meditative. Any slow stitching project is meditative. Do your project whichever is comfortable for you. I think I'm going to do a blanket stitch all the way around the edge to to get the edges secured, and you don't have to go in the same direction all the time. And now this one, I think I'm going to do running stitches at a 90 degree. You can do circles, spirals, squares, random seed stitch. I do love the way the seed stitch looks. It doesn't matter how messy your back is, because when I go to do the blanket stitch on the back, I'm going to stitch it down, stitch the backing down. And then we have all of these fun, colorful little snaps, and we'll put those on so that you can secure the bracelet to your wrist. I think you can get the idea of what I'm doing. I think on this one I may change the color of the thread, and I may do like a square spiral. And by that I mean I will start up in one corner and I will keep going around and around and around, but each time I come back to that corner I will go in slightly. I thought I would come back and give you a little update, and I'm just having fun with all these stitches. And I decided to change out the color now. I'm going to use some bright yellow, and I'm going to toss in some French knots here and there. And to make my knots, I just wrap it around the needle, pinch it, and pull through, and it gives me a nice little knot. I think maybe I'll do some French knots in between these numbers. There's a fun little French knot, and I'll just pop over to the space in between the next one, and I'm just taking the yarn and wrapping it around my needle a few times, and then putting the needle back down very close to where it came up. And that's how you make your French knot. And I think it looks cute. I absolutely love the way this feels. Now you can add as many wraps as you like. I've been adding 3, and this is 3 strands of embroidery floss that I'm using. I am going to continue on like this, and I will come back and give you an update soon. I changed colors of thread again, and I'm using 3 strands of some purple embroidery floss, and I went through my jar filled with buttons, and I talked about this in a previous video, but I got this jar with so much fun in it. I am just having a blast. I could spend hours pouring through this jar. And I also got a second jar that's got some really cool buttons in it. See this one here, it's all beaded. And I've picked out some buttons that I like. This patch here, I'm going to random X's or plus signs. See, so we're just having some silly little wonky X's. This doesn't look like the same bracelet because it's not. I leave my mistakes in my videos so you can learn from my mistakes. I cut this too short, and it no longer goes all the way around my wrist. It'd be fine for a little girl. What I've done is I am starting anew with a new piece that is longer, and this will certainly wrap around my wrist plenty. You want to learn from my mistake and not do this yourself. These pieces of felt that I'm using, I got in a multi-pack, and I got them from Michaels, and they are 9 by 12. I just cut a 1.5 inch strip off the end at 9 inches, and I'm not going to trim this until I'm ready to put the snaps on. I will get back up to where I was on this one. You may not want to feel all the knots behind your backing. If you have the length, like I have one knot there, but I don't think anybody's going to feel that, it's the edge. What you can do is you can just run your needle through the felt on the back to get yourself up to your new location. I have all of the stitching done, just enough to hold it down. And you know, the back is messy, but that's why we're going to put another piece on top. So I have gone through my scraps of lace. I got this mega bag here that's lots and lots of fun. I'm going to take this and put some pleats in it, just some tiny little pleats like that. And it gives this a little bit of movement. And I'm taking the button, so that just adds a little something there, and I like the way that looks. And I think what I'll do is just run a few stitches along the lace behind the button just to hold things in place, and use a piece of white to do the next piece. Put a knot in that, Melissa. I'm going to continue sewing down all these little bits and bobs on here, and then I will come back. I have taken my big shears here and I've trimmed up the edges of this, and I am going to put it on here. And I want to get an idea of how much I'm going to be wanting to trim off. Okay, I think that'll work. All right, so it looks like I'm going to be trimming off about 5/8 of an inch. And I think I will trim off, maybe I'll trim off this side. I'm going to trim off about 1/2 of an inch right here. And I know that I have stitching that's going to come loose, but that's okay. There, I committed. I am going to put a blanket stitch all the way around, and I think I'll use this thread, and I am going to start over here because my stitches are loose, and I'm just going to run my yarn like that through there, yarn thread. I have everything all trimmed up, and I've put some pins in here to hold things together for me, and I'm going to start by putting my thread from the back so I can bury the knot, and I'm going to come out about, I'm going to say 3/16 of an inch from the edge, and I'm going to come up again right from the same spot, and I'm taking my needle and I'm putting it through the loop before I tighten it down, and I'm just pulling it so that it's snug. It's not taut. I have not pulled real hard on it, and I'm going to go over about 3/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, however different you would like. Now see, I have a loop here, so before I snug that down, I'm just taking my needle and I am tightening it, and then that will run all the way across the edge and give it a finished look. Just cinches it down nicely and holds everything together. I'm going to continue all the way around, and I will come back when I'm done. Came out good, so I'm quite happy with that. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to figure out where we want our snaps. There's my instructions, and if you are interested in picking up one of these, I will put the item in my Amazon store, so if you go down to the description below this video, you will find a link to my Amazon store. We are going to practice on the boo-boo that we made to make sure that we get it right. These instructions leave a lot to be desired, English being one of them. We are going to make a pokey, so we're going to make a little bit of a hole here, and we're putting the cap in that hole, and then we're putting that like so, and this is the socket, and we're putting them like that, and then we are pressing. Okay, so that worked. So now we have to put the top on, and the top is going to be very similar. We're basically going to make a pokey, and we're going to put the cap in like so, and then we are taking the back and putting it on there like that, and squish. Okay, so now they snap closed. That is a wonderful little thing, and they work good, and they look pretty too. They have all different colors. The bottoms of these, this is a stud, and you're not going to be able to see this. Yes, you can. Okay, you see the little bumps on there? That's to help you grip, and that should go on the same way as the cap. So the bumps should be up. I think that I like the way that looks, and I think that one snap will be enough. And I'm going to grab a marking tool. I have put a little mark here with my pencil, and I'm going to make the hole. Put that piece through. Put that in like that. Okay, and then place that and squeeze. And that's in there good. And I see the spot that I want to put a base right there. I made a little tiny mark right here using the pokey tool and putting it in the bottom like that, pressing. There we go. And there is our little bracelet. I think that is absolutely adorable. And the fabric will ease up a little bit and it will stretch out a little bit, but the felt feels really nice on the wrist. It's not irritating at all. And I've kept all the trim that could be irritating to the skin far enough back so it's not touching your skin. So there is our fun little bracelet. And again, it just snaps over like that, and the back is nice and clean. I love, love, love all the different textures on it and all the different little elements. This was a warm-up project for our 2024 block of the month, and that is going to be slow stitch raw edge applique flowers, and we'll either be making flowers with fabric or we will be cutting out flowers and then appliquing it down. And we will be doing a kind of quilt as you go. I hope that you will come along with me on that and that you will have fun with this project. And the felt is cheap. I got it at Michael's. It came in a big bundle. So I hope you had fun with this and I hope you'll give it a try. And these fun, colorful little plastic snaps that we have here. Again, I will put a link to my Amazon store down below and you'll be able to pick yourself up a whole big bucket of these. And they work very, very well. I was worried about them being strong, but they certainly are strong. So thank you so much for coming along with me on this project. I hope you had fun. I hope you give it a try. Please do remember to give the video a like. Go down there and hit that thumbs up button for me, please. And if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It would really help me out. And please do leave a kind comment down below. Your comments just make my day. I have so much fun interacting with you and talking to you in the comments. And please don't forget that I'm over on Coffee and I have several memberships that I have available. I have memberships available here on YouTube as well. I have patterns and quilts and all sorts of things available for sale on my website, 70acrestudio.com. So please go and check that out. I also have a Discord server and you can come on over there. Thank you ever so much for watching. I do appreciate it so very much. And I hope you have a very, very blessed day, a very, very blessed week ahead. I love you all very, very much. God bless.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy.